Hi, I'm Tyler, and I'm a queer YouTuber. Hi, my name is Tyler, and I'm 16 years old, soon to be 17. I go by they, them.
And they knew early on that they were a bit queer.
I've always kind of felt that way, but when I was a child, I was in this group that was kind of secluded and shut everything out, so I couldn't, take part in that to, explore my identity, really. And as a child, I was always a little bit weird in my own way, and every time I went to kindergarten, I used to have one of my mother's headbands that had this long strings that I would pretend I had long hair, and I felt home in that. I felt home being not myself. Then one day I started 7th grade, and then I started exploring a little bit more. Then I kind of found out there's other pronouns than he and her, and then I heard of they, them, and I go, that's me. That's me. I came out to my mom, and she was really accepting, and that was after we left the group, kinda. From then, I've been always gone by,
I asked them to elaborate on what it felt like when they first heard about the gender-neutral pronouns.
It felt like, when you try a shoe. When you try a shoe at a shoe store and it just fits perfectly, and then you want to walk around with it, and then you want to scream out loud, I have new shoes. And that was that for me. I'm non-binary.
And Tyler's friends have also been a great support.
Since I came out, my friends have been really supportive. Almost all my friends are LGBTQ people, so it was easier to come up for them. And they have been really supportive by using the right pronouns and just being there for me.
They have recently started a YouTube channel.
So YouTube is a thing I wanted always to start with, but I didn't get a chance to start with it until I started 9th grade. And then I just thought it was easier, why not make gaming videos at first and then progress with maybe talking about myself or my life or just other stuff I like cosplay or LARPing or role-playing or character creations and stuff.
Fantasy is a big passion of Tyler's.
Because when I was around the age of 6 or 7, I had contact with people. They were friends of my mother, and I used to, sleep over and stuff, and the parents of their children always said that I have a large fantasy because I was always playing around with myself, and I was always, picturing myself in a land of mystical creatures and stuff. So I've always liked the genre fantasy, elves, orcs, and trolls and stuff.
What about queer representation in fantasy?
In those areas, I find it hard to see those kind of recognition because it takes place in an area where it's really far back in time, but I would love to see a fantasy movie with a queer person in it. It would be fun. I've recently started watching Supergirl. It's a show, and there is a queer couple in the show, which I really like, and there is a queer superhero as well. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
And the fact that they don't see a lot of queer representation within the fantasy community is also why they wanted to start a YouTube channel of their own.
Yeah, I want to somehow get out there and show that I'm non-binary and I'm a black person who have struggled, and I'm still here. I've made it. For me, being a black queer person has been hard. After I came out, I started going into these communities, and sometimes there would be other queer persons that say that I'm not valid as a non-binary because I'm black. And it took a toll on me, because then I didn't know who am I then. And then a person told me that I am valid regardless of my skin color and where I'm from. You are valid as a non-binary person.
And Tyler wants other black queer people to accept themselves like they have.
Even though it's hard being a black person and a queer person, just hang on there until you get a calling, until you get the chance to shine. And if you get a chance to shine, do whatever you can to get out there and be yourself.